And this is kind of a big buzzword. I must know my purpose and I must understand why I was put on this planet. Howdy team. Today I want to talk to you about the number one trait of successful people, of successful self-employed people, business owners, entrepreneurs, and ways in which you can improve your results and make sure that you get the best results in your business. Because business is hard, business is tough. But the thing is, I learned the hard way after doing things wrong for almost 10 years. And it took me 10 years in order to find this number one trait, which ever since 2016, I've continued to work on, continue to make improvements and keep focusing in order to keep stepping forward. You know, there's always things that get in the way. It's always hard. It's always difficult. There's points where you want to give up, where you don't want to keep, where you don't want to keep going. But when you understand this number one trait, you are able to, because it's a continuous, virtuous cycle that you just can't stop or give up. Let me know if you can guess what it is. Share with me now what you think the number one trait of business success is. The number one trait of the most successful business owners and entrepreneurs. The number one trait that is going to take you from A to Z in the shortest possible time scale so that you can get the results that you seek. Comment in now and let me know. So I think the number one trait is personal development. Having the awareness and the honesty to understand yourself better than anything else. Yes, you can take action. Yes, you can be persistent. Yes, you can be disciplined. But that is all underpinned by your own personal development. The ability to know yourself better. The ability to have massive amounts of self-awareness and be honest with yourself in relation to who you are, what you stand for, what you stand against, what you love, what you hate, who you're best to surround yourself with. All of this stuff comes from knowing who you are. And that's why I think we often aren't taught this. And it took me 10 years in order to begin a personal development journey in which I was able to then transform my life, my family life, my business, my income, my results, the people that I surround myself with. I said to my wife yesterday, I actually feel lighter than I've ever felt, or at least felt for as long as I can remember. 2015 was my hardest year in business. I built a business that I hated. I built it the wrong way. I was spending 20 grand a month on lead generation. I had a team that wasn't performing particularly well because I wasn't a great manager. I drank myself into probably the worst hangover that I've ever had on the 31st of December 2015 because I said, I'm saying goodbye to this year. I accumulated almost six-figure debts where I didn't downsize quick enough. And it was just horrendous. But it's in the failures and the mistakes that you get the lessons. And I realized, having been adopting and watching and reading and listening to Tony Robbins, that I was the problem. And it was the NLP practitioner course that I wanted to do as a means to, understand and learn from Tony Robbins that was the catalyst to everything that I now have achieved and am achieving. And I still don't see myself as a success based on where I would like to be and based on inspiring you to achieve your greatness. But I'm definitely in a much better place, personally, professionally, and family. So my 7 things in terms of the number one trait of the most successful business owners is number 1, personal development. Having the self-awareness and honesty to know where your strengths and weaknesses are and being able to keep looking to move forward. If you don't continue to keep improving yourself, then how can you expect to improve others, your team, your businesses, your departments, your clients, your life, your family, yourself as a husband, as a father, as a wife, as a mother, as a, everything. It all comes down to knowing yourself better. Number 2 is about having that mindset, that learning mindset, to be able to actually understand that everything starts with you. The marketing that you do, the process that you build in your business, the people that you surround yourself with, the money that you make, the impact you have on the world. Everything comes back to you being in a state of learning and being able to say, actually, I understand I'm not perfect, but I'm going to take imperfect action in order to be able to get the results that I want. And once you actually know that and you accept that, and you know that you need to work on personal development, you need to work on your mindset and keep learning about mindset and your strengths and weaknesses and awareness. Number 3, you can then start to identify what you really want. For 10 years, I didn't really know what I wanted. And it was actually just focusing purely on the money that made me unhappy, that made me dissatisfied, that made me build the business that I hated. Because even though I achieved the money in 2015, I had the business that I hated, that made me go back to work 3 days after my first daughter was born, that meant that I was working ridiculous hours and not actually having work-life balance or seeing my family. So with the self-awareness that you gain and the mindset that you take on, you then know what you really want and what you really need. You can then work out who you need to become in order to be able to achieve what you really want. Because when you set a flag in the ground and say, right, this is where I am, this is what I want, and this is who I need to become in order to be able to get to what I want, then you just take the action. Now, it's not about living in the future, because living in the future will constantly leave you dissatisfied. I did that too. It's focusing and saying, right, in order to have what I want, what do I need to do and who do I need to become? And then you just focus on who you need to be. Because when you know who you need to be, you can take the actions that you need to take in order to keep moving forward. And the only way in which you can do that, which again I didn't do, is number 4, focus on your superpowers. There are generally 3 to 7 things that only you can do, that only you are a master at, that only you absolutely love and feel passionate about and want to do day in, day out, that don't cause you anxiety, that when you do it, you're in a state of flow, where it doesn't feel like work, where time just flies by, where actually you feel like it's almost wrong that you're getting paid to do it, because you can't believe you're getting paid. You can't believe this is work. And actually, that is when you are focusing on your superpowers. And often when you're starting out in business, and again, I did this too, you feel like you need to hold on to everything. You feel like nobody else can do as good a job as you, when in actual fact, there are people who are way better than you at other things. And therefore, you're able to then leverage the lower value tasks. You're able to make sure that you focus in the right areas and you make sure that you get the results that you ultimately want. Because when you understand your superpowers, it's then just about taking the imperfect action in order to be able to get better at them and share what you want to share. Because number 5 is about the repetition. It's about making sure that you practice, making sure that you learn, making sure that you take action on everything that you want to do. You know, in NLP, they talk about, you first need the great learnings, but it's the repetition that actually gets you better at things. You don't get better by riding a bike by only riding it once. You don't get better at doing video by only doing one video. In 2016 or 2015, I classified myself as socially anxious. I couldn't speak in front of 5 people, let alone 150 people that I have done now. But it was realizing where my shortcomings are and where my failures, understanding what I wanted to achieve and who I wanted to become, that then enabled me to take the action that I needed to and then practice it and repeat it. And you can do it too. That's the big message. When you understand yourself better, you then are able to focus in the areas that you need to focus on. Because number 5, once you start focusing on those superpowers and you get the repetition, number 5 is about understanding your purpose. And this is kind of a big buzzword. I must know my purpose and I must understand why I was put on this planet. But you can only really do that by knowing exactly what you want. And you can only really know exactly what you want by actually focusing on your superpowers, by doing the things that you need to do every single day, by making sure that you are actually just moving forward and constantly moving in the right direction. 1% improvement every single day is 365% across the course of a year. We often try and focus our mindset, our personal development, our action, our repetition in the wrong areas. If something is causing you anxiety and stress, you need to figure out a way in order to be able to remove that from your life. And it becomes down to exactly rituals. It comes down to the consistency, the daily action, which is actually my number 7 in making sure that you get the results that you want. So, number 5 is all about the repetition, the practice and the action. Number 6 is all about the purpose, knowing what you really want every single day and why you really want it. Because your purpose will naturally find you. And the reason why I say this is because over the course of the last 6 months, there's been 2 occasions where I've had conversations with people, previous coaches, shall we say, mindset experts, conversations where they've written down the things that I've said. And it's just been a case of actually, saying and bringing it into reality. I'd like to coach and mentor and stop other people feeling the pain that I felt in 2015. I would like to have more work-life balance and have dinner with my kids. I'd like to build a business that enabled me to work from anywhere at any point in time. When you speak these things in terms of what you want to do, then you can actually start to take the action that you need to take. But ultimately saying, I want to help and inspire 1 million business owners in my life, your purpose changes and grows. Because if you're in £50,000 worth of debt, for example, how on earth can you think about a purpose of inspiring and motivating other people? You can't. So your purpose, your vision, your reason for being grows as you grow. And your purpose and vision and reason can only grow as much as your mindset grows, as much as you invest in yourself in personal development. Then you can take the action in order to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. So last thing is around the number 7 is about the accountability and the consistency. Having those daily rituals, having that discipline, having that focus to know where you are going or know where you want to go and then keep moving forward. That accountability could be in the form of coaches and mentors. If you've got the self-discipline, then you're able to hold yourself account with lists and everything. But you need to be consistent. It's pointless constantly trying to sprint. When you look at a marathon, it's a long distance run. When you look at a marathon, there'll be points in that race where people are going faster, but where they're knowing to slow down and have a bit of a recovery phase. You can't sprint. The pace at which someone does 100 meters versus what they do 200 meters in is not the same pace throughout. So it's accepting that this whole business game, this life game is a marathon, not a sprint, and then having the accountability internally, externally on social media, in the right community, to then keep growing. But knowing that you are on the road to personal development. And often, it's quite scary getting to know yourself better. But there's that whole saying around feel the fear and do it anyway. And then that will breed more confidence into your life. It's why I believe the number 1 foundational step within building your successful business is about your vision. But it's not just about your vision, it's about who you are, what you want to become, what you want to achieve, the income that you want to earn. There's so many components that come under that first step of vision. So I would love to know what you thought of this episode. I want to recap on the 7 steps for you, just so you've got complete clarity, because I think personal development is massively understated. And it's kind of a big buzzword as well, which is why I want to just demystify it from the point of view of saying, get to know yourself better, have more self-awareness, know what causes you anxiety and stress, and then start to remove those things from your life. It's a constant journey. It's a never-ending journey. It's a cycle. And the more you understand yourself better, the more you're able to focus on your superpowers, the more you're able to help and inspire and motivate other people. And I only talk about things that I feel confident in, where I felt pain in my life. And I don't want anybody to feel the same pains that I have building a business the wrong way for 10 years. So number one is about personal development, but not just personal development. It's about awareness and honesty. Number two is about the continued learning mindset and actually understanding that this controls every action, every decision, every element of discipline that you need to have. Number three, once you know that, you can then focus on what you really need to do and who you need to become in order to be able to achieve that. When you understand what you need to do, then you can understand when you understand who you need to be, then you can just take the actions that you need to take. And those actions are related to number four, your superpowers, knowing the things that don't feel like work and doing them more often. Because number five is about the repetition and the action and the continual practice of your personal development, your self-awareness, your learning, your growth. And as you begin to go through that, number six, you will get your purpose. Knowing what you really want and why you really want it, who you want to help, who you want to inspire, will help bring your purpose to life. It's a journey, and it will become more, it will be in front of you more the more you start to focus on the things that you really want to focus on. Because number seven is making sure that you have the accountability, the consistency, the discipline, the rituals, as it's been said here, to keep moving forward, to understand that there's going to be success, there's going to be failure, but it's often in the failures where you get the biggest lessons, and knowing that you're going to be able to keep moving forward. It's about growth. You water a plant every single day and it grows, or you don't and it dies. You have a choice. You can feel the fear and do it anyway and breathe more confidence into your life, or you can stay fearful and do nothing and make mistakes and get things wrong. But actually it's good to make mistakes and get things wrong. But it's realizing that that is part of the journey. That is where your confidence comes. And I hope that that gives you some inspiration and motivation to your week, your month, even your year. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in, and have a fantastic day. Remember, now's the time to become pro.